What's up? What's up? Just if you're JP in the house. Okay, so I'm going to continue on this topic. Today's going to the chapter or whatever you want to call it. I will talk about the social and the psychological interactions out here when it comes to Japanese women. Now again, like I said, don't hate the player, don't hate the game, learn the rules. The women out here, they are, the way they do things, their game is on tight. I mean, it's Trump tight. I mean, they're winning, period. They're winning, okay? And pretty much, I doubt any man can actually win as far as controlling them, okay? Very few men get to that point, but I'll talk about that later. So anyway, out here, Japan is pretty much a country where it is pretty much caters to the people. Okay, really caters to the people. I've heard some things, something like, I'm not sure how true this is, but this is what I heard. I think it was after, I'm not sure. I think it was probably after slavery. I don't think it was after the war, but it could have been, but I'm not sure. But I think it was after slavery. Or it could have been after the war. I'm not sure which one. But after either one, of course I should get my facts done before I say this. But anyway, at some point in time, Brazil didn't want to, I guess if they were rebuilding whatever, they didn't want to pay their former slaves or black people to do the work, the farm work or whatever it was that they had people doing. So what they did was they had, for some reason, I guess maybe they offered Japanese people or Japanese people found out, but a lot of people started leaving the country. And this is what a Japanese person told me, and like I said, I'm not sure how true it is, but Brazil is has the largest Japanese community outside of Japan. And what happened was they had offered Japanese people to come to the country to do the work and pay them instead of paying the black people who are already there. And a lot of people started leaving Japan because there was actually nothing here. So it could have been, I'm almost sure it was probably after the war, I think. But anyway, what happened was people were leaving in such droves that, it would have really shook up Japan. So what the Japanese person told me was that Japan told the people to stop and that they would take care of them. Because the people are like, it's nothing here for us to do, no work or anything. So that's what happened, from what he's saying, that the government actually set itself up in a way where the people would stay. But I wouldn't necessarily say the government, the people who wanted to be governors and the politicians and stuff, they pretty much had to convince Japanese people to stay here in Japan instead of going to Brazil and making money. And so things were just pretty much made or to, pretty much caters to them. So a lot of people, you come out here and you'll see that, the Japanese people seem pretty spoiled and stuff like that. The social interactions and stuff out here concerning the women, the mothers. Marriage out here is not about love at all. Okay, it's about just a business. The wife takes care of all the money, the kids, the guy, everything. All the guy goes out and does is work and make the money, help the business grow and whatever, and then go home and that's it. A lot of them have one or two kids. After that, sex stops. But it only stops with the husband. It doesn't stop with her, because the wives will go out and find a lover. My wife was talking about that the other day, that Japanese wives don't fall in love with their husbands or something like that. They don't look at their husbands as a lover. They go out and find lovers or something like that. So but I wasn't shocked. I already knew that. But I was just shocked that she would tell me that. Because she tried to play these games too, but she don't. But I keep telling her I already know how things are. I already know how women are. So you don't have to play the role. Just be yourself and do whatever you want. Because my first 2 marriages were, they were pretty much open marriages. So I don't care. I really don't care. People gonna do what they want. And they doing it not because they mad or whatever, but people gonna do what they want and they happy doing it. So, why get upset at them doing it? But anyway, so the mothers out here, what they do is they pretty much beat the men down psychologically. Okay, and it goes with the work and the yelling, and before they get married, the wives are really nice, and it's a lot of conditioning going on. This one lady told me that the reason that a lot of women in Japan are not married, or the guys are not getting married, is because they don't have game. Pretty much that's what she said. She speaks English very well. And she said when she was young, the older generations, they would be nice. They would just put on a show, be nice, do whatever the man says, hi, smile and laugh at all the jokes and everything, that so they can get married. And because once they get married, a lot of times they're not going to get divorced, because the guy, they'll be embarrassing to his job, and for some reason, the guys are on board with the women about being this stable kind of social status of being married. But I don't understand why the men would cooperate with the women, because they're pretty much suffering too. So I wouldn't, I'm not like that, like whatever, but a lot of guys are on board. So the women are like, say, oh wow, well he's divorced or whatever, or she's divorced or whatever, we don't want to deal with them, or if this company, oh well, somebody at work, yeah, you married, no, if they don't have a ring, no, then it's more or less like they can, I'm not saying they do this, but it's more or less, I'm just giving an example, like they would not shop at that store because the wife would be the lady there isn't married, or the guy might have been divorced, or whatever. It's, I'm not saying that's the situation, but it kind of seems like that's what's going on. So the mothers teach the women what to do. The lady said that these young women, what they do is they don't show, they show their real selves instead of showing their fake self. Instead just show their fake self until they get married, or after they get married, then they can change back to whoever they are, because the guy's already conditioned, that he's in love with her because she's nice and all that. And then if she turns mean, then a lot of guys, they'll just deal with it, because they already experienced the nice, well, she is nice and stuff, but it's all like fake and stuff like that. And so that's why a lot of women are not getting married, in Japan. Another thing is that once you start dating and stuff out here, like I said, it'll be easier to deal with the women now, because a lot of them don't, they just come out bold and whatever. My wife, she even sometimes saying, like, she acts like a man, and I'll laugh at her and say, well, you don't have a penis, you're not a man. Okay, and even though she might in her mind appears that she's tough or everything, most of the women, they just talk. It's just talk, because they're not going to beat up a guy. It's just physically impossible for a woman that's 5'4" going to beat up on some guy that's 6 feet, 6'2", whatever. It's not going to happen. But these guys just, what it is, they're just too emotional. They get too emotionally involved with the women. So yeah, like my wife, she would say that stuff, and I just laugh at her and say, well, I said, it's okay. What it is a lot of women, a lot of women, even in the world, they want to be like a man, but what they don't understand, men are very sensitive. We are emotional people. We're the ones who have to protect our bodies, because we have the sperm, and it's on the outside, so it's in a vulnerable position. we are the one who looking for a woman so that we can have kids, or we can, you know, I guess, release, and stuff like that, So we're the ones who are actually out there looking for love. And the women don't understand it. They think that we're just out whatever, but no, we're the ones who are more emotional than them and stuff like that. So when you do meet, so the best way to wait, I don't want to talk about that right now. 2 minutes, I'm going too long. I don't want to make this long. So basically, when you come out here, the women out here, the psychological thinking is, I am number one. I'm a Japanese woman. I am number one. And you here in Japan, I have rules. We have rules. They all are catered to us. So you either do what we say, or I won't talk to you. I won't communicate with you, because there are a lot of guys that I can go out and find and marry, because they don't need to marry a handsome guy or whatever. They just need to marry someone who got some money. And it's interesting, because what you'll notice is, like here in Japan, you hear about this beauty and this aesthetic stuff, but when you look at a lot of the couples, you'll see these handsome men, with these women who are, based on it, from in our American standards, 1 to 10, there would be 4s, 5s, and even 3s. Some guys do get smart or get lucky and find a beautiful wife. I've seen a few, or you find these beautiful women with these guys that are 3s and 5s. Sometimes they look nice, but it's not, I hardly ever see a match. 7s with 7s, 10s with 10s. It's there, but it's not, for the most part, it's not. And it's even with the foreign guys too. You'll see these guys out here who wouldn't get a woman in a whole state, but they out here with these beautiful Japanese women, or you see these guys out here, these foreign guys out here who are 10s, and they would get every woman in a state, but they'll be out here with a woman who was a 4 or 5, and it's really interesting. My wife, she's average, I guess, but to me, we married because I didn't use protection, okay, and she got pregnant, and just a responsible thing. We discussed it, and we almost didn't get married because she didn't really need to marry me, and I knew it, but I was just saying, it's just for the kids, the son says he won't grow up, the baby won't grow up without, in a single family, so that's it. So basically, that's what our marriage is based on, so once the kids get bigger, 18, I'll be 60. If we divorce, fine, whatever, separate, go our own ways, whatever. So I already understand that's the condition, that I put myself in, that I got involved in, and stuff like that. And so I'm not worrying about that for me, okay, because it's just, it's basically responsibilities. But a lot of guys come out here and they get caught up. The way people deal with it is like when you go out with a Japanese woman. And again, like I said, I'm not talking down on them. Just this video is just to prepare you for what's coming when you get involved, and that's it. Especially if you get married. If you dating and stuff, it can almost be the same. It's definitely going to be the same, but once you get married, it gets a little bit more stricter, but sometimes strict. But then, just single, just dating too, the same thing happens. You got guys who are dating girls, and they girlfriends, and they living together, and no sex, you know what I'm saying? But, like I said, it's not to discourage anyone from dating them. It's just, when you date or when you get married, this is what to expect, because it's a landslide, onslaught, and guys do not see it coming at all. Okay, and so when you, like I said, let me think back. Okay, so basically out here is pretty much the women rule, and the guys are, I think a lot of guys are weak because the mothers train them to be weak. So it's almost like this team effort thing where the mothers teach all the boys to be weak. And they walking around here looking like girls, dressing like women and stuff. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if they want to walk around in high heels, whatever, that's their choice. People gonna dress how they feel. and stuff like that. But to dress like a woman and then to act like a woman, and then when responsibilities come along and you don't respond like who you are, a man, based on your natural makeup and stuff like that, then I think that's a problem. Okay, but then again, that's a choice. So, people gonna, hey, you do what you're gonna do, that's fine, but in the end, this is what's gonna happen. And a lot of guys do wake up and it's too late, and they don't have the energy, or they have the money. Like, I know a friend, he got money and stuff like that. Him and his wife don't have any kids, no sex, nothing. And I'm just, like, why did you even stay with her for so long? And it's just psychological, maybe platonic love. She'll walk over and touch your hand, like, some crazy stuff like that. I have no idea. It's just really crazy. But that's pretty much it. The psychological part of it is they're always thinking, what can they do to make themselves better, put you in a situation, and make their lives fun. So like a housewife's job is 24 hours pretty much. She get up early, take care of the kids, take care of the husband, clean the house, go to work. I mean, sometimes they go to work. Those who don't, they're fortunate. Then cook, clean up, and all of this stuff. So their work is much longer than the husbands and stuff like that. But the women out here, the smart ones, they clean up real fast. They already know what to do. They already know what they're going to cook. They go shopping every day, so there's not really a big need to buy a lot of food every day and stuff like that. And the money is always managed by them. Some of them, a long time ago, they used to get into the forex trading and made millions, and no one didn't know until this one magazine company, kind of like snitched on them and stuff like that. But or they'll go out and do other things. I don't need to go into that. But sometimes they go out and they make money. A lot of them go out, lunchtime with their friends, whatever. A lot of them do dates, other men and stuff like that. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you do get married, it's more or less like a business. She has no sexual obligations to you, no obligations to even speak to you, no obligations of any kind to you, nothing. Only to be a housewife and take care of the kids and make sure the kids go to college and everything like that. But other than that, there is nothing, and a lot of guys, I've seen a lot of these husbands in really pathetic states and stuff, and it's really, actually it's funny. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even gonna say it's sad. I won't even say that. I see it and I laugh. It's funny. And I'm not saying that I don't laugh in my situation too, because I get in predicaments too, and I laugh, because it's like, just bail out, because you can easily bail out, because there is a game that guys can do to win out here. I have no idea where I'm going. I'm looking for a building. Got to go somewhere and drop something off, but I don't know where I'm going. I don't even see a... Gosh, I'm not going too far. I have no idea where I'm going. Anyway, the psychological thing is pretty much she's saying that she's the boss, and pretty much that's the way she's going to run. And they're going to stay on that road, and they're not going to deter from it. So either you're going to leave, you're going to have to leave, or you're going to, fall in line, and that's it. And, like I said, it's not, when you see it and you really understand it, it really is a beautiful thing. This is something that you would have to laugh at, let's see. I think I am going the wrong way. I have no idea where I'm going. I am definitely going the wrong way. I thought I knew where I was going, but I don't. Let's see. Hold on. This golf course, definitely not there. That's the ocean. So anyway, let me continue. So when you come out here and you start dating and stuff, I'll tell you what to do in another video, because I'm definitely going the wrong way. I have no idea where I'm going. And so basically, when you dating out here and stuff, these are the things that's going to go on. Now, it can get, I'm telling you, it can get really deep where, a woman will be with a guy and he'll be in love and everything else, and next thing she'll be gone. Say, I want to break up, and that's it. No reasons why and nothing. So it's more or less, because you can look at it more or less like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a game or something like that, which it is, but, it's just, it's almost like, how it is when you say, well, I wasn't born, I didn't ask to be born. So it's almost like one of those things. So to deal with it is just, they just do whatever they do just to pass time, pretty much, just to pass time, and the women or the wives or whomever, they devised a plan that is just so awesome. It is just so awesome that it just works, and you do, and that's why you have a lot of these women who are maybe single, because the boys, the guys just stress out and they just can't take it, and they just leave and stuff like that, pretty much she can get a job, do whatever, and make money and take care of the kids, because once you're in a house, it's pretty much she's going to do everything. It's almost like you don't even have permission to even socialize with your kids and stuff. It's like like I said in my other videos, she'll be the CEO, you and the kids will be her staff, and that's it. You're there for her purposes to, the guy at work die, sad. She'll get insurance, the kids will go to school, go off, do whatever they want. She might keep in touch with them, she might not, but she'll have the money, then they just travel around the world. They still young, their body's still fresh, 60, 70 years old. They can go out and do whatever they want to do, and a lot of them, they just get together and just chat about, their victories or whatever. So it's really interesting, how it is. It's really different from the Western countries and stuff like that. And like I said, it's just, they game tight. Maybe it's because of all the wars, that they had to go through. And of course, when you lose the women, they get, they're the victims, and, a lot of things happen to them and stuff. So, maybe that's how it developed, whatever. I have no idea, but it's something that's, is just pretty much awesome, and you really can't complain about it when you really understand. And once you understand it, it's like, oh, okay, well, now that you know the rules of the game, you don't have to play it. You really don't have to play it, because there are two types of guys in the world. There's the one type of guy who have to what is that called? Pay forward or give back. And then there's the type of guys who don't have to. And the guys that have to give back are the type of guys that people expect them to, expect them to do things for them, okay, or to give back to the neighborhood. And then, and so if they don't do it, people are upset. But then you got these type of guys who don't have to give back to the neighborhood, and it's not expected. And when they do, people, they really butt against it and say, no, we don't need it from you. This is not what we want from you. This is not what we need from you, and stuff like that. So, it's, dang, I think I missed my start. I think I missed this turn. I'm almost sure this is not the, it might be the street. Oops. This might be the street. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's okay, cool, this is it. So anyway, that's how it is, out here. And all I can say is that wait, hold on, let me wait, I think I'm going the wrong way.